Hey everyone, Mah-Dry-Bread here. Pokemon Fire Red with only one Cyberman was a wild and insanely difficult run. Let's follow that up with a classic solo run. Today's the day that we figure out would I be able to beat Pokemon Emerald with a team of only one Snorunt. So, Snorunt. It's an ice type with a strange quirk of having completely even stats with a base 50 in everything. No strength, but no weakness. I mean, other than all the many types that are super effective against ice, of course. By level up, we learn some pretty nice moves, like Double Team, Crunch, and Ice Beam. The type coverage leaves a lot to be desired, though. By TM, it doesn't really get much better. We get a Ghost and Water move, but we already have a Dark move, so Ghost doesn't really do us any good, and I don't see myself using Water Pulse. I'm gonna be honest, I don't think I'm gonna use any of these TMs. I might just use my level up moves. Like always, I'm rating this script as I go through with the challenge, so all of this part is being written before I've started. Everyone comment down below and guess if I can win or not. I'm sure that I can win, but I bet I'll need to be level 100 for Wallace, and I doubt I can even beat Steven Stone. Maybe with insane double team luck, if it comes to that, but then again, Skarmory would probably just poison me while I build it up. Let's explain the rules. In combat, I can only use Snorunt. I'll need other Pokemon to use HMs, but I won't be allowed to use any of those Pokemon in battle. No glitches or exploits, no items in battle, only Pokeballs, held items, and items outside of combat are allowed. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more. Let's do this. So right off the bat, I use the Universal Pokemon Randomizer to replace Treecko with Snorunt so that we can do the whole run with it. I picked to replace Treecko so that our rival would have a Blaziken, probably the hardest for us to fight. I made sure to restart until we got the Quiet Nature, extra special attack, and less speed. Considering our best moves are going to be ice ones, I think that I'll need this. It took a while though. Look, while I was restarting for the right nature, the battle tutorial Zigzagoon was even a shiny. I name him Brother Runt. The second R had to pull double duty to fit the character limit, but I'm happy with it, and I'm sure some people will get the wrestling reference. So, early game travel. I'm actually kind of worried. Yeah, we have ice moves, and that might not be that bad against the Rock Gym since two of their Pokemon are part ground, but it's not going to be great against a Nose Pass, and all of Roxanne's Pokemon actually have some Rock moves. Rock is super effective against ice, so that's no good. Now, we do learn Double Team early, so I guess it would be fair to use that if we really need to, since we learn it naturally anyway, but I'm not sure that we're really going to have a chance to build it up, seeing as Rock Tomb lowers our speed. Maybe I'll just use it once or twice and then try to brute force our way through with either Powder Snow or Icy Wind, whatever one we have by then. Let's find out. Okay, first try at the Rock Gym at level 17. The first two Geodudes were easy one-shots with Icy Wind, but Nose Pass is dangerous. Right away, we get a speed drop on it, and it uses Harden. Second Icy Wind drops its speed more, but its Rock Tomb deals more than half of our health and damage as she heals with a berry. Our next Icy Wind brought it to half health, so I thought I was doomed, but her Rock Tomb missed, then we crit to finish her off. I didn't even use Double Team. What an insanely lucky first try. Okay, just because we got lucky on that doesn't mean that we'll be ready for the next fight. The Fighting Gym is next, so another type that we're weak against. We could skip it, but then we have a rival fight where she's gonna have fire and fighting moves, so no matter what, we're gonna have to fight something that's super effective against us. Wish me luck. Well, at the Fighting Gym, it goes pretty badly. When was the last time I did the Fighting Gym and couldn't even beat the Machop at the start? Well, even if I got lucky and took him down, there's no way that I could take out Makahita at the end. He hits pretty hard. This also makes me think that we can't beat the rival fight though. That means it's time to grind at the beach. So we don't really get any great moves until level 34 with Ice Beam, so I'm mostly just trying to get our stats up. I doubt I'm gonna need to be level 34 just to beat the Fighting Gym, although we may need to be that strong to beat the Electric Gym in a little bit. Hard to say for sure. I'm gonna say that we can probably beat the Fighting Gym by level 28 or so. Let's find out. Okay, so I try again at level 26. We can easily beat Machop and Meditite without taking damage, but Makahita is still a no-go. Yeah, we missed, but it still takes 3 shots to take him down, and he can 2-shot us with Vital Throw. Maybe if I use a Silk Scarf with Headbutt and get a little bit stronger, then we could 2-shot him. Alright, level 28. This one took a few tries because there's a bit of luck involved since Makahita often opens with Bulk Up, but on this attempt we got him to flinch, and that wasted just enough time for us to get the win with a few headbutts. Let's go to the rival fight. Now, I was actually kinda worried about this one, but Headbutt did an awesome job. Maybe we could have been in trouble, but the very first Headbutt got a flinch on Kabuskin, so we landed a 2-shot. That was pretty good. You know what I'm worried about though? The Electric Gym. Yeah, this one's usually pretty hard. Right now, Headbutt with a Silk Scarf is our best move, but the Electric Gym leader has a Steel type, so that's not gonna get us the win. Plus, some of his team has statics, so making physical contact is just asking to be paralyzed. Best idea right now is to take out all of the trainers in the area to get a little bit of experience, hit level 34, and learn Ice Beam. Then I bet we could win. Before that though, let's talk about this episode's sponsor, Chimera. You're probably sick of hearing me talk about Chimera's hoodies, jackets, and joggers this winter, right? You already know that you can keep warm and comfy in those, so let's talk about Chimera's bread and butter, the graphic tees. I feel like I hardly have to sell you on these t-shirts because, I mean, you guys have eyes. These designs are awesome. I own a bunch of these shirts, and I'm sure you've seen me wear them on stream before. I can tell you that they look even better in person, and that they go through the wash wonderfully. You just turn them inside out and cold wash them, and they come out looking just as good as they went in. I've had these for over a year now, and they still look like day one, so I can personally vouch for the longevity of them. If you're looking to give out some super late Christmas gifts, then this is the way to go. So if you want to support the channel and look good while doing it, then hit up the link in the description to go to Chimera and pick up something warm to wear this winter. If you're gonna go pick something up, then make sure to use the promo code Mah-Dry-Bread at checkout to get 10% off your order and to let them know that I sent you. Now let's go do that Electric Gym. Wish me luck. Okay, well, the first few tries at the Electric Gym didn't go well, mostly because of Magneton. We don't deal great damage even with Ice Beam. I tried to use Headbutt to get around the Super Potion, but no luck. I lucked out on this try and hit a crit to take him down, but Magnetrix still took us out. Honestly, it's not that big of a deal. I think I could win this in a few more levels. Next try, only a couple of levels later, and things go alright. This time, Ice Beam, Headbutt, then Ice Beam again was enough to get us the win. Magnetric actually brought us all the way down to only 5 health, but our Ice Beams hit pretty hard, so we won. It was close, and it could have for sure gone worse because of paralysis, but we were lucky, and this only took 1 try at level 37. Travel time. So we have some parts coming up that I'm worried about. Maxie might not be that hard, but then we have the Fire Gym. Not only is that usually a bit of a rough gym, but we're Ice type, so Fire is no good for us. Before then, we could get the TM for return, and between that and Silk Scarf, we'll be hitting pretty hard, but I don't think that's gonna give us a one-shot sweep or anything like that. I'm thinking that might be the first major battle that I'll have to use Double Team for. It sucks, but it's better than grinding for ages. Plus, if I use Double Team for that, then I could do the normal gym at a lower level. That could be fun. We'll see how it goes when I get there. First, Maxie. Yeah, he was super easy. The only time he hit us was with Magnitude, and he rolled a low number, so we were fine. Will it go that well in the Fire Gym? Somehow I doubt it. So first try and we actually take no damage getting all the way to Torkoal, but because they used Sunny Day earlier in the fight, they had an easy time one-shotting us down with Overheat. Alright, I'm not messing around. Let's try again with Double Team. Okay, so it took a few tries due to getting super unlucky and getting hit by Overheat loads despite Double Teams, but 4 tries later and we got a run where we got the knockout. Okay, well, we're making good time. Let's go do the normal gym. But on our way there, I took the Root Fossil. I knew that if I didn't say what I took, you'd all ask. Actually, now that I think about it, everyone ask anyway. Comments are good for the YouTube algorithm. Well, would you look at that? Even without having to overlevel for the Fire Gym, the normal gym was still pretty easy. Maybe slacking could have caused us an issue, but we froze him with Ice Beam, so he never stood a chance. I thought I'd win, but I didn't think it'd be that easy. Time for more travel. So we have a rival fight coming up that will probably be easy, then a flying gym that's normally at least a little bit of a challenge, but with ice moves, it should be perfectly fine. I think it might get rough after that though, since the next major fights are Maxie and the Psychic Gym. We still suck against fire, and the Psychic Gym is the one where we have to fight 2-on-1, and that's never easy. Plus, our ice moves are special, and they tend to have a good special defense. There's a ton of travel between here and there though, so we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Yeah, you see what I did there? Now, although we still won this fight on the first try, we probably took the most damage ever at this point thanks to a critical double kick. Man, that did an insane amount of damage. Let's go deal with the Flying Gym. First is Swablu, who was one-shot with Ice Beam, and second was Skarmory. Now, it actually hits us with a super effective Steel Wing for quite a big chunk of damage before we two-shot it. Tropius was a one-shot, of course, and next was the super annoying Pelipper, who confuses us with Supersonic, then stalls us out with Protect. We hit ourselves a bunch, then got crit by Water Gun to go to only 4 health before we finished it off. Last was Altaria, and normally it would finish us off, but it's quad weak to Ice, so Ice Beam took it out just fine. That was a lot closer than I expected, though. Okay, we have lots of travel now. We have to go through the jungle, up Mount Pyre, through the Magma Base in the Jagged Pass, fight Maxie, do the Aqua Base, then surf east to the Psychic Gym. There are a lot of trainers along the way, and I make sure to fight loads of them because of that Psychic Gym fight coming up. Now, just north of the Psychic Gym is Shoal Cave, and usually I make a Shell Bell there, and I probably will this time too, but also while I'm there, I'll pick up the Never Melt Ice. It's a held item that makes our ice moves 10% stronger. I don't know if it'll be as helpful as the Shell Bell in the Psychic fight, but it'll for sure be more useful than the Silk Scarf that I've been using so far, since that just powers up normal moves, and I'll likely be using Ice Beam in the Psychic Gym. Let's do the Maxie fight first and see how that goes. The first try in Maxie didn't go well since we didn't have any healing items left, so we went into the fight hurt. Thanks to Scary Face lowering our speed, Camerupt was easily able to take us down with some hits of Earthquake. Okay, I'm pretty sure we just need to come back into the fight with more health and maybe a level or two. Let me get back to this point and try again. Next try, and Scary Face misses, so we do much better. Being able to hit Camerupt with Ice Beam before it can use Amnesia helps a ton in making this fight pretty easy. Alright, last bit of travel before the Psychic Gym. The plan is to get that Never Melt Ice, start getting the stuff I need for a Shell Bell in case I need that, fight a few trainers, then catch a Magikarp to be our partner in the Psychic Gym, since you can't start the fight until you have 2 Pokemon. Think we can win it? Because I'm gonna be honest, I don't think we stand a chance until we grind a lot. While we travel, now's a great time to do some of that Q&A stuff I was talking about in the Psyduck run. I'm gonna grab 2 questions that you guys left for me back in the Psyduck video and answer them here. Alright, first time, here we go. Dart Poke MM asks, what has been my favorite challenge? It could be Pokemon or non-Pokemon. Also, what was the hardest challenge in 2022 outside of the poison-only moves one? Favorite challenge? That's hard to say. I loved the Fallout 4 with only pipe weapons run that I just did. Maybe a little bit of recency bias there. Easily one of my favorite videos I've made, though. I also really loved that Oblivion with only illusion magic one, and the Oblivion as a Necromancer runs. Those were both really funny, and I always have a fun time doing the goofy edits in those Oblivion challenges. As for Pokemon challenges, though, I think my favorite one might be last year's Christmas episode, Pokemon Black 2 with only Christmas Pokemon. It's probably the funniest Pokemon challenge video I've ever made, and I always prefer making funny videos, so if I can make a challenge funny, then that's a big bonus. As for the hardest challenge of 2022, I still think it was probably the poison moves only one in Emerald. That was really brutal. That one aside though, for sure Brilliant Diamond with no new moves. It's on Switch, so there was no speed up or turbo button or anything like that, and the Elite Four in that game is so much harder than any other Pokemon game that I've ever played. The run was so brutal that even when I took breaks to walk around and stretch out, I'd bring my Switch with me to keep grinding. That run completely took over my life for a few weeks just to get it done. Still, I don't know if it was quite as hard as that poison moves only run. That was probably a little bit harder. Second question, Sen Silvar asks, what's your favorite Pokemon conspiracy theory? I used to hear tons of these because I spent years reading Pokemon creepypasta on this channel, but probably the Gary's Raticate one. For anyone who doesn't know about it, it's the theory that our rival's Raticate died on the SS Anne in Gen 1, because the next time you meet him is in the Pokemon Tower, and he never has that Raticate again. Pokemon Tower, of course, being a place where you bury dead Pokemon. I doubt that was actually the intended story, it's probably just a coincidence, but I think it's a fun theory just because it kind of makes sense, you know? It's a lot more plausible than a lot of other conspiracy theories in Pokemon. Yeah, that was fun. So if you have any questions that you want to see answered on the show, then make sure to let me know in the comments section and I'll grab some of those for the next Pokemon challenge. maybe I should come up with some kind of like word that you need to always include in the question so that I can easily search it in my comment section to find them, because I did have a little bit of a hard time searching for questions in the Psyduck one. I just searched the word question. So if you guys have any suggestions for what we could call this segment, then maybe we could use whatever that name ends up being so that it's easier for me to search and read your questions. Thanks. So obviously, we lose the Psychic Gym, but not as badly as you might think. See, Ice Beam is a one-shot on Xatu and Claydol, but the real threat here is Solrock, who can use Flamethrower. We have to take out Xatu right away so he doesn't use Sunny Day. That way when Solrock comes out, he uses Sunny Day instead, and since he's a two-shot, we can take him down before he uses Flamethrower. Then, we can take down Claydol after that. Problem is, Claydol uses Earthquake every round to whittle us down, so Lunatone can easily finish us off. If we could crit Solrock, then it might go better, but I worry that I still wouldn't have enough health. It's hard to say. I'll get a few more levels and come back. Hey, at least there's still lots of trainers in the water, right? I really hope I don't get to the point where I'm grinding in the water on the wild Pokemon here, like usual. I'll just fight my way down to Pacifid Log Town and then fly back and see how things go. And man, that town name really looks like a typo, but I know that it isn't. I know I typed that right. Don't know if I pronounced it right, though. I don't know if that shows in the anime or anything, but I only ever saw the first season of that growing up. Anyway, next try at level 60. Well, we're faster than Xatu this time, so that's nice, but it didn't really change anything. We faint at the same point. I tried using Crunch against Solrock this time, but it did just about the same amount of damage as Ice Beam. I mean, the special defense drop is nice, but it's a two-shot anyway, so I'd kinda rather use Ice Beam for the chance of freezing. What if I tried a few times and leave Xatu around? Yeah, I'll lose if he uses Sunny Day, and Solrock goes straight for Flamethrower, but maybe I'll get lucky and he'll waste time with Calm Mind for a few rounds. I know that's won us this battle in the past. I don't know if I'll still be able to one-shot him with Ice Beam after that, but we can always try. Okay, next try. It actually goes better, with Xatu doing exactly what I hoped for. Problem is, he got a Psychic in with Calm Mind, and that did a ton of damage. We took down everything but Lunatone, and I thought we stood a chance, but he used Light Screen and Calm Mind to completely destroy our ability to deal damage. I was holding out hope for a freeze, but no luck. Maybe if I just try a few more times? Alright, so I made dozens more attempts and even leveled up a few more times, but I just could not get a lucky freeze or crit. Not only that, but most of the time they don't even pick the right moves for us to even have a chance of winning. If Xatu doesn't bother with Calm Mind, we lose. If Xatu uses Confuse Ray, we lose. If Xatu uses Calm Mind twice, we lose. If Lunatone uses Hypnosis, we lose. He never missed with it. This is brutal. I'm coming back with a few more levels. Okay. You aren't ready for this. A few tries in at level 67 and we get this attempt where Lunatone uses Light Screen and keeps spamming Calm Mind. I was just hoping for a crit when we froze him, he defrosted the same turn, then put us to sleep. We lost. I can't believe how horrible my luck is. If you total all the time I've spent just trying this fight, it's gotta be at least 2 hours at this point. Alright. 4 tries later, and we finally landed a crit on Lunatone to take it out. We didn't even take a hit on the winning run. This fight is always the worst. With that done, it's time for the final bits of travel. We have Archie, the Water Gym, Wally, then we're at the Elite Four. We're almost at level 70, and that's probably the average level for us at the Elite Four, so we might have to be a little bit stronger than that. I'm not worried about Archie, but the Water Gym could be really annoying. I think I'll want to switch back to the Silk Scarf for that one, since Ice isn't going to get us very far. Wally is almost always easy, so I don't think we'll have any issues there. As for the end of the game, I'm thinking the Elite Four might be okay, but I don't think we'll be ready for the Pokemon Champion for quite a while. I'm getting ahead of myself though. Let's worry about the next 3 fights first. Archie was a pushover like usual. Aside from getting confused, we had a really easy time. I don't have high hopes for the Water Gym, though. Honestly, I can't believe I was worried about the Water Gym. What an absolute walk in the park. I'm sure the Silk Scarf helped, since I don't think we'd get a 2-shot on Kingdra without it, but honestly, that was really easy. Well, I'm not too worried about Wally. Let's hope it's smooth sailing all the way to the Elite Four. Yup, Wally didn't even land a hit on us. Isn't it crazy how easy he usually is? Honestly, we probably could have gotten hit if we didn't freeze Magneton, but we did, so it was no problem at all. Now that we're at the Elite Four, let's take a look at our stats. Level 70 is pretty much standard at this point, and, well, I guess our stats are pretty much what you would have guessed. Almost totally equal. It's kind of the gimmick of this Pokemon, you know? 170 health is kind of nice, but we're going to be fighting stuff with a lot more than that. Not even being at 130 in any of our attacking stats gives me doubt that we can win quite yet. If I can at least make it to Wallace, then that would be cool, but I think that either Phoebe or Glacia will be able to beat us. I'll probably use Silk Scarf for Glacia just to be safe. Make your final guesses on if we can win this or not. Let's do this. First is Dark Trainer Sydney. Our attack is down due to Intimidate from the start, but Ice Beam was able to sweep our whole way to Crawdaunt. Absol hung on, but only used Swords Dance, so we were fine. Against Crawdaunt, it was actually a bit dangerous since we weren't dealing great damage with return, and his Swords Dance strength was pretty rough, but we were able to take him down. Not a bad start. Second is Ghost Trainer Phoebe. I switched to Shell Bell for this since I knew we'd be using Crunch. Right away, she always starts with Protect, so I used that turn to use a single double team, just in case. Crunch ended up critting for a one-shot though. That's great because her Dusclops has pressure, so we used double the power points fighting it, and I don't want to waste any extra. For the second Dusclops, we just have to take a Rock Slide, but it didn't do a ton, so 2 Crunches did the job. Bayonet goes great since she just missed Shadow Ball, so we didn't end up taking any damage. Next was Sableye, who took great damage from Ice Beam. She used Double Team, but we never missed, so went perfectly fine. Last was her final Bayonet, and it was just a one-shot with a critical Crunch. Perfect fight. Third is Ice Trainer Glacia. The Celio at the start goes okay, but as soon as we get to Walrein, we run into an issue. Even with the Silk Scarf, our return doesn't deal nearly as much damage as her just using Surf. Yeah, I could probably build up double teams against Celio and win, and I'm sure Drake wouldn't be that hard, but if we're easily losing the Glacia's water moves, then there's no way we can handle Wallace at the end of the game. Let's just run through the Elite Four a few times to get some levels and see how things go. Okay, next try a full 6 levels later and things go much better. I mean, kind of 7 levels later since we leveled up during the fight. Walrein still hit really hard, but we were able to make sure that she never used a full restore, so we could take her down and the rest of her team just wasn't that tough. We're making progress again. Fourth is Dragon Trainer Drake. Shelgon always starts with Protect, so once again, we did a single double team for safety. Ice Beam was of course a one-shot. Flygon was also a one-shot, and next was Salamence, so our attack is down. Now he's faster than us and hit a huge flamethrower to take out half of our health, but our Ice Beam was a one-shot since he's quad weak to ice. Altaria is also quad weak to ice, so it was a one-shot, and last was Kingdra. I went for Ice Beam since it's our strongest move thanks to the same type attack bonus and Never Melt Ice. His Surf nearly took us out, but we hung on and hit a second Ice Beam for the win. Finally, Pokemon Champion Wallace. Right away, things were not going great against Wailord. We didn't deal amazing damage, and he can really hurt us. Not only that, but he loves using items to heal back up. We took him down, but Tentacruel right after was able to Hydro Pump us down. Well, we can get to the final fight, so there's no point in wasting time grinding when we can just use some rare candy to top up. There's no new moves we can learn right now that would help, so it's all about just figuring out what item to hold, what level to be, then we just need to get lucky enough. Level 85 with a Silk Scarf. Okay, so Walrein is much better now that he's a 2-shot. Problem is, Tentacruel loves using Toxic. It doesn't have a 100% chance to hit, that wasn't till later games, but it's still accurate enough that we get hit by it a lot. Ludicolo after isn't too hard, and I bet we could even take out Whiscash after that if not for how our health is draining fast. Maybe if I try a few times until we just don't get hit by Toxic? Okay, a few tries later and he uses Hydro Pump instead, so we're below half health, but at least we're not poisoned. Ludicolo just used Double Team but didn't actually dodge, so he went fine, and Whiscash only used Amnesia, so he was a 2-shot as well. Next is Water Onix, so down goes our attack. We totally lucked out though, and he missed Hyper Beam, so we just 2-shot him with Ice Beam. Last was Melodic, and I was so close to a victory. One more hit and we would have won. Maybe just a few more levels and we can get to Melodic with more health? After getting poisoned another 4 times, we got some crits and ended up with more health. By the time I finally got to Melodic, I'm in a lot better shape, and I thought for sure I'd win, but then he pulled out a real cruel move. He used Toxic to poison us, then spammed Recover to outlast us until he could finish us off with Surf. I was wishing so badly for a crit there, you have no idea. Let's try a few more times and just see if we can get Toxic to miss. 7 tries later, we hit Return, Toxic missed, we hit another Return, and he hit us with Surf, then eats a berry to heal up. We're 1 Surf away from fainting, but the 3rd Return gets the knockout. I could tell from many failed attempts that there was a damage range on those returns, and he'll often end up with low enough health to use an item and then outlast us. With that victory, we get into the Hall of Fame and win the run, but you know it's not over yet. Gen 3 has a post-game fight with Steven Stone. I made sure to top off my level first, since I'm obviously not going to stand a chance if I don't. He starts the fight with Skarmory with Toxic, so I'm really hoping that Never Melt Ice and Ice Beam are enough for a one-shot, because if they're not, then we're in for trouble. Here's our stats at level 100, by the way. Yeah, honestly, it's not looking amazing. Wish me luck. So after a bunch of tries where we just got poisoned right away, we got this one where we lose 100 health to Steel Wing instead. I guess that's an improvement over Toxic. Second is Claydol, who was nearly a one-shot. This is with Never Melt Ice, by the way. His Earthquake does tons of damage, but at least we crit on the next hit after he healed. Credilli is also nearly a one-shot. It is crazy how close that is to me. Ancient Power took us out, though. Yeah, I don't know who we'd use Double Team against, and it's obvious we couldn't have taken down Metagross even if we got to him. Let's call it a challenge here, and I'll start on the next one. Well, that was a fun run. It was really nice having a well-paced early game, seeing as that basically never happens in Pokemon Emerald. Normally I'm stuck grinding for the Rock Gym forever. I hope you guys like that run. The next challenge should be up next week on Saturday like usual, with Fallout 4 with only VATS. I am super pumped for that one. I think it's going to be a really fun run. I'll make sure to do a different ending than last time too, so that we get more variety in the missions and everything. That previous Fallout 4 run is one of my favorite challenges that I've ever done. Super happy with that. As always though, I'm looking forward to your suggestions in the comments, in the challenge request section of my Discord channel, and on Twitter. Subscribe, ring the bell, stay tuned. Outro time. What do I talk about in this one? Oh, one thing, the Q&A thing. I'm already really happy with that. I got so many interesting questions from you guys on the Psyduck video. Maybe I'll even like screenshot some of those that I didn't use on it just so I can use them in future ones. Although I'm sure I'm gonna get tons of questions, just judging by how many I've gotten on the Psyduck one. And I ended up grabbing the questions like a day after that went up. So I'm sure that more will come in over time. But I thought that was fun. I hope that whenever, this episode airs, that you guys will have fun hearing the answers to the questions and then asking more. But already, I think that's kind of a fun idea. So I'm quite happy with that so far. Oh, and this has nothing to do with anything, and most of you will have no idea what I'm talking about, but I'm so happy about it. I got Arcanum working on my Steam Deck last night, which was quite the ordeal. I had to follow this big guide on Reddit for it, and it didn't explain in detail how to do half the things. It just assumes you know a bunch of stuff, but I figured it out. Do you know Arcanum? It's like an old, 2001 PC RPG? It's made by Troika Games. Troika Games was like a bunch of the staff who made Fallout 1 and I think 2. So it has a very Fallout feel, like a classic Fallout 1 and 2 feel to how it looks and kind of how it plays and how the story is so interestingly written. But it's not a Fallout game. The setting is like Victorian Dungeons and Dragons, and it's really interesting because I'm already like really interested in the Victorian era, as I'm sure you already know if you follow me on Twitter, from the fact that I'm one of the only humans on Earth who learned how to play Victoria 2 back in the day. That game is awesome, by the way. And I like Victoria 3 as well, quite a bit. Little apples to oranges, the games play very different. You don't need to have played 3 or played 2 to learn how to play 3. But now I'm talking about things that 0.01% of you will have any relation to. Like, let's be honest, have any of you ever played Victoria 2? Probably not. Awesome game, but man, they do not make it easy to learn that game. It's like the anti-learning game. You have to have like a wiki open on the side and Google, why did this thing happen? Anytime anything happens in that game. I swear, it wasn't until I had played that game for like 400 hours that I stopped learning new vital mechanics every single playthrough. It's crazy. But yeah, probably none of you care about Victoria. 2 or 3. Hope some of you care about 3 because I want to do some streams on that at some point. You know, whenever I'm doing a little bit better. At the time that I'm doing this voiceover, it's Monday, and on Friday, I get to see my doctor, and my results for my MRI should be in by then, which I'm very excited for, because all I know so far is that the MRI doctor person, you know, the doctor who like gave me the MRI, he told me that something's wrong in my neck, but it's not like life-threatening, so that's great. I was hoping it wasn't life-threatening. Figured it probably wasn't at this point, but you know, the physio's been helping. The most important thing, though, is when the full results come in and I get to see my doctor, then maybe I'll be able to see a physiotherapist or something and stop just doing at-home physiotherapy and start getting some manual therapy done on it as well as having a therapist actually look at it and tell me, you know, maybe there's some at-home physiotherapy exercises I should be doing that I have not discovered yet. It would be quite nice to know about those. Speaking of, I've been sitting down way too long doing this voiceover. I'm gonna go stretch for a little while. Thank you everybody so much for watching, and until next time, have a nice day.